fat dude, funny old dude, fat time, good. That's how he be. That's all he do anymore. Put donkey on, man. I ain't doing that. I don't. I did. I did. But you know, us black folks like this, I ain't trying to do that at all. Did you just pull me over, man? Why didn't you? Did you just pull me over? I didn't do anything wrong, officer. Why are you wrestling with me? No, man. You gotta look at off me, man. You gotta off me. That's a crazy white boy in the woods that imagine that he already did, and this looks old, and that don't look good, but he did wrestle in his own. Don't blame it on the black man, see, but blame it on your own self, cause I'm black. I'm good. See, I have a white soul, but it's not a white person. It's the same as a black person did. It's the same, but I ain't the same as you, man. And because I'm the same as my wife, if she is my wife. I think because, you know, Basile, don't do this, because Steve Harvey might put a gun to your skull, man. You understand? No. Steve Harvey man put a gun to your skull in this car right now, motherfucker. Do I sound like a chicken, motherfucker? I'll blow your head off, motherfucker. Give me that call back, man. Steve Harvey. Y'all ain't nothing but a cracker in the woods, man. Peace. I'm out of here like Richard Pryor on the stage. Smooth. It is smooth, too. I got $200 million. Suck my hickory ride up your nose. I don't care. Don't, man. Don't do that cocaine no more. That you been shoving up your asshole to get high, man. That's it, though, man. Shoot. You cool. You don't do none of that. I just got pulled over by Steve Harvey, man. See? No, he didn't do that. He don't. Trust me, I play football, man. In my own brain, I could throw one and kick one, see, but I ain't never played in a league. Yeah, right. That's about how much I know, see. But he cool. He too cool. I could kick a football field goal and throw him real far. Or I could when I on, 10 tone. I could too. See, I strong. And if I still have my youth left, I could kick a football field goal and throw one too. And I'd be very nice about it and good. But John Birmingham don't know much about football game. But when he was in the 5th grade, see, that's Corey, the way Corey talks. He don't kind. But I don't know who talked that way. Gang. I don't know who talked that way. That's a dude that downtown Roanoke that broke the law. They're looking for, man. If you talk that way, you best not talk that way, man. Around here, best not talk that way. That's why I wasn't gonna leave to California. See, motherfuckers? That's what I'm talking about. This is real. This is real. A police officer just pulled me over, man. Who you talking to? Himself. So, I ain't going wrong now. See, for saying that, they put you away, man. So, take a shit in the woods, all I care. I'm black. See? No. But that's not the real reason. They ain't gonna do nothing wrong to a black folk around here. But I'm pretending, see? Because I'm like so liberal that I like to stand. All it took to stand. A Muslim man. Where is he? He's God. He's God. He's just God. The Muslims believe in God. See, I believe in Jesus. I believe in Jesus. You want the truth? They need Jesus to get into heaven, those Muslim people. That's how they really need to be. Do you think that I'm a Muslim because I'm Italian? Motherfucker? Fuck you if you do. And fuck anyone who thinks I'm a Muslim for being Italian. You can fuck yourself. I don't care about you. I don't care who you are. I don't care about you. I'd feel better in California, to tell the truth, about stuff like that. Because the entire time I was in, as beautiful as these woods are, you know, when I go out there in society, you know, I have a neighbor who lives down from my house who likes to make, it sounds like it's just, never mind, how beautiful it is here. Wow, how beautiful it is here. How beautiful. Well, how they would desecrate those beautiful woods and rainforests. You know how those motherfuckers. That's why I'd like to go to California. It's another reason why I'd like to go to California, you motherfuckers. What they would do to knock down all those trees and shit for bullshit they don't need, just to capitalize off of killing all the animals in the rainforest because they're mean and evil as shit. I hate all their bullshit. So they can put palm oil into foods and make people fat as shit in a weird ass way that they never used to be that fat unless they just ate cake a long ass time ago. No one can get that fat if you don't eat high fructose corn syrup, shit like that, like cakes, processed food. You can't get that fat on regular food. See this peanut butter? You could eat. You can't even eat that much of it. You can't even eat that much of it, but you can eat as much as you feel, pretty much, I think. Even though this probably has palm oil in it. This is a shitty ass regular mainstream one. Of course, that's why I like the regular natural peanut butter. They, you know, I can't even talk about how much I like organic food because my mom and dad are in charge in this fucking town, and organic to them means organs. Organs, you know, an anxiety about organs because they want to stand up for everyone in the country having good, affordable food, you know, because they think that whatever. I don't want to show my face. It's not my mom and dad's fault. Don't bring them into this, motherfuckers. They kissed ass right to fit in with all your stupid ass bullshit anyway. Don't go after them. That's why the fuck do you think I like California better, you dumbass bastards? Fuck you. Bastard ass bully people telling me I had a 67 IQ. Suck your own dick, motherfucker. I'm a big black police officer, about to squeeze your neck and pick you up. I'm one of those meme people who's like really fucking strong and pick you up by the head. I'm not a meme person. It's fucking stupid. My dad thinks I did little ass shit. Like I'm like one of those bullshit ass people who got famous at a meme. It's not his fault. He knows he helped me work in real estate and make more money. It's not his fault at all. He's good. He's not in it. I just thought he was in on it. All the stupid ass mainstream evil shit that I was against growing up. I just don't like it. Why the fuck do you think I'd want to live in California instead of here? Even though these woods, I got to be more liberal, or whatever the fuck liberal means, or Republican. I get to be more kind to minorities than ever in my adult life or teenage life in this neighborhood. In Virginia. There is no racism. There's this was like heaven on earth. This was like heaven on earth here. Right here in Virginia. You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, why did my films and videos not pay all my bills for me? Okay. It's good for everyone else.
They have it pretty good in this country. Everyone has it good in this country. I have it good in this country. I have it good in this country. You know, but my films and videos didn't pay my bills from here. So, you know, people are happy when they have a job they like, if they have to work, and if they get to be around their family, their wife and kids. What else would you possibly want as long as you have your health? As long as you have your health and you enjoy your job and you love your wife and kids and she's in love with you, your wife is in love with you and everything's okay. And instead, I'm out here by myself. I don't have my wife and kids with me, and my job that I'm really good at, which is movies, film, and stuff like that, didn't make enough money from here, so I had to work at other stuff that made me sad. So I don't have those main things that people are usually happy about when they're a grown up. I don't have those things other than my health and kind of good looks. I have my mom and dad. They're my family. They're pretty good. It's not their fault at all. I shouldn't blame my dad. He does kind of. The only one thing is that I don't like that he does. Well, I don't know. He just does. I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. Might as well just, if somebody shot me in the head, I'd finally be at peace. You really think I would like eating this mainstream Jif peanut butter that like is so dry to eat? How much could I possibly eat if I was so hungry and I couldn't eat any food, and there's hardly any of it left. That's why, because I was trying to eat it and I couldn't, because it has these little. This is what's in the bottom of it. How do I even get to eat any of it? It's not some comedy routine. If it is, guess how much it's fucking earning right now? If that's really a comedy routine, and I'm supposed to put all my heart and emotion and love into pretending I'm some comedian, and it's really earning right now $20 a month or $100 a month. Uh, don't even take your time to actually calculate that, because that's crazy as shit for someone for me who's done this for 30 years. Don't even stop and say, wait, well, that's, $200 a month at it, what you're making it. Well, that's kind of, fuck that. Don't even consider it. Somebody who's worked at films and videos, not showing my face right now. The guy who, lives next door to me, I don't know. People try to pretend that I worked it. What does work it mean? I was too much into my looks? I made entire movies. What do you know how to do? He makes money at his job. He makes money at a regular job. Okay, good. And he plays music. Great. Why does he think I work it? Because I happen to look okay in the face when I filmed this video? I felt awful before, but he was like shit. He was like shit all alone. Before I felt like an not rickety, but old looking, white, racist, old white man. Uh, yep, old rickety one, businessman, working at my big stuff I did. Kill someone with the evil hate with all my no, and then like thinking those things with all they have in their heart, and then being quiet about it so they don't get in trouble for it, and thinking and feeling that with all their heart, it is bad. Because sometimes I've said I hated someone and stuff like that, and I didn't mean to feel those things with my heart, because that's when it's bad. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about with that stuff. They're probably nice, and I don't know what I'm talking about. But look how beautiful the woods look. By the way, God praise Jesus, a kind of sinful video that I thought sounded funny and I didn't understand why. I was just laughing, saying things out loud, and it turned into kind of negativity and meanness at a political level. Do you really think that? Who says, do you really think? That's awful. You think someone like me would really, George Carlin was way, about 5% of the way I feel about that stuff politically. So if I can't open my mouth about it and have to hide out in the woods, where I just feel confident out in public, and they don't want someone like me to make a living at my films and videos, if that's the reason, if that was what kept my videos down, I'm wondering what kept my views down and my films from earning more money. Was it because I am the way I am about like questioning mainstream society, pushing my own button to explode my body? May as well kill myself if I had one of those fucking peanut stomachs like Ronnie Coleman, who's like the richest one of the richest bodybuilders who ever lived, but he can't walk. And I don't want a belly button like him. He looked like a peanut. And he said it looks like a peanut, but I feel sorry for him because he's so old. But he's not that old. Like in the 90s, he was in his prime. And people who are into bodybuilding and go to gyms and stuff, young males usually know who he is. Ronnie Coleman. He's pretty nice. I think he's going to make it to heaven. I think he's a kind person. And he walks with like a walker sometimes, or sometimes sits in a wheelchair or walks with a cane because his back is hurt. Because he was the strongest person I think ever to have lived. I think he was the strongest person ever to live, unless maybe back in the biblical times, like they lived to be 900 and stuff. Like, who knows? Probably not. I think he was the strongest person who've ever lived. Because they didn't have steroids back then. I don't know. And like, I don't want a body that's failing now before I got to do the famous stuff. Why did I show up looking good and attractive and saying cool stuff for some reason, and then have to feel like like a Memorial Day weekend, and Memorial Day I had to feel like I was 72 and at unrest the entire weekend. Just feels so awful and bad. I maybe I complained. Maybe I should hear somebody else talk. I'm gonna try to invite somebody to the video if you can do that. Maybe stop making a video. Oh, that makes sense. Don't film the video anymore. Don't film the video anymore when only 2 people are watching, and it may only have 100 or 200 views. A panel about what? I don't know. I don't know. Why would I do a panel if they didn't pay me money? I've been doing this for 30 years. Why would I do a panel unless one of those companies that like Clerks got picked up by, and they put $1 million into the soundtrack. He didn't know how to edit sound back then on film because it was too expensive, and I couldn't back then. If I finished my film on if I finished on film, if I had done the editing, you would have barely been able to run it through a projector. I would have edited it so much. And they kept it simple. And why did Clerks get to go huge? Why did Clerks get to go huge? And I made one film like that, and it didn't. And then I made another entire film again. It took years of work, and that still didn't. And then I made one more feature film, but not really my best, as good as the other two's work, but really good, pretty good too. Rednecks, but it only took about a year's work instead of a few years, whatever. And then it wasn't the amount of years of work. It was the intensity of the work. And how could I do again my best work of that stuff if no matter how good my work was, that was the stuff that didn't, on YouTube, they like these random videos. I spent one day filming and editing. It just happened to go big. It looked more like a home video. That's the ones that got big on YouTube. I came back here because in LA I thought videos were stupid as shit and videography was stupid or something. I was so I thought, I'd make movies in the uh theaters. They made it to theaters, and I thought TV and movies were so stupid and not that good. And I was really critical and worked unbelievably hard at my work, but I really did. So I guess you wouldn't believe it, so it doesn't make any sense. But back then, that's how I tried to be the best on earth, and I thought I was better than everyone. And I assumed that if I just worked harder than everyone too, then I'd be even way better. But it didn't, and so I don't know. And so somehow I'm a random guy on earth who has to keep living, and it feels like shit being alive. And it would be so much easier if somebody just shot me in the head, but I'm not asking for that, and I'm not planning to kill myself. So, don't take me away, cops. Don't take me away, people who would try to report me in anger and try to put me in some fucking institution or a fucking place like that to try to look down on me and make me feel even worse and then make me want to kill myself or some shit. That's never helped me. That's never helped me. A hospital has helped me. A hospital has helped me, but not a mental kind of hospital place or whatever those things are. Those never helped me at all. Those never did anything for me. I would have been better in the if I had my wife and then she would just say take the medicine, don't stop the medicine and also drink caffeine at the same time, which took me about 4 or 5 years to figure out. Oh, you can't do that. You can't just quit all the medicine and drink a bunch of caffeine, or then you're unable to sleep. If you take medicine like risperidone or one of those things, I don't need that. I'd like to challenge anyone who thinks that I do need it. Like to challenge anyone on earth who thinks that I need psychiatric medicine or thinks there's anything wrong with my way of thought. I've had enough of them looking down on me. Might as well just delete the entire video. Stupid ass, little shit ass video. Who gives a shit? It'd be so awesome if somebody just shot my entire head off with a shotgun and just destroyed my entire head. Either side, the left or the right. At this point, who gives a shit? I'd rather be dead. I hate being alive. My life has sucked. You know what it was? Not being famous. No matter how much I had to suffer in schools with people looking down on me, no matter how much I had to I had my wife and kids. I had my wife and kids. They were taken away from me. So now I have nothing pretty much to look forward to except more effort and work to try to finally feel okay. FFF, finally feel okay. You failed, John. Good. Fucking blow my head off. I don't give a shit. My life sucks. Everyone's life on earth sucks. Besides children and young adults who have something to look forward to, and people actually got to make a bunch of money or have their loved ones in their life. They have their parents still alive if they didn't get married, or who gives a shit about that for me other than it's good they're alive. I love them, But I actually got married and had children who you're supposed to love way more than your mother and father when you leave your mother and father to get married and have children. So it's just not the same going back to them. It's a small ass amount of love compared to what I had with my wife and kids. It'd be awesome if somebody just fucking killed me with a gun right now, like actually blew my head off, like I was like the most minority person who had a shotgun buckwheat off of my face. They fucking killed me that way and made my face permanent look. They made my body look that way or some shit for their stupid ass, bullshit ass, racist shit ass, bullshit ways. We're gonna take their shit down forever. That's why I put fucking Obama in office. You bum fucking kill yourself, butt fuck yourself, kill yourself, fuck bastards. That's why I try to use lesser magic and shit to fucking be stronger and push the best actual selfish good political beliefs. At least it was good and kind. At least it was kind and good. It was really selfish like the devil, but at least everything I believed in was kind and good. So when they pushed me and made me feel like I was gonna have a fucking heart attack as a young man working so hard to finally not want to kill myself at their stupid ass bullshit they looked down on me for any other of the shit that I tried to do, that they made me do, their stupid ass regular mainstream ways. When I kept working for to finally get to be famous where I didn't have to suffer anymore and got to do the stuff that I like to for a living, that because the other stuff made me sad. Their schools, they looked down on me like I was the worst of everyone in the classroom usually, or not the worst, but just the I was not mean at all. I was not mean at all. If I had died, I would have gone right to heaven. I was only a little bit mean at the end of 2004 when I read this shit about in one of those occult books and it said lesser magic, but I didn't know what it was. I tried to like wave my hands and make somebody fat. Like I tried to make them as fat as I could because they made me feel bad that they were a strong jock and I was skinny and I tried to make them feel I tried to make them fat and intentional meanness to others. I never done that my entire life until 2004, until they just kept looking down on me and looking down on me. And then I did it for a year or two, and then it caused all my depression. It made me depressed and want to kill myself. So don't hurt anyone. But at least the ideas I stood up for were good and kind because it was selfish too. Like, the devil's selfish. He only serves himself, and it happened to be a little selfish. But at least everything I believed in was kind and good. Everyone holding hands in peace, like a utopian heaven-like world with everyone getting along. So when those ideas actually became real, with some for some reason they put Obama in instead of me getting to be the cool, good-looking youngest president to have ever lived, how I thought I'd be when I was 35 in the year 2012. Instead of that happening, I had to settle down and have a family, and I didn't get to be famous first and do all the cool stuff I actually liked instead of the bullshit ass dream to be president that was somebody else's who they tried to push on me. I'm just gonna delete this whole fucking video, even though the comedy at the beginning was really funny. Might as well kill myself. I hate being alive, but I'm not gonna kill myself because if I did, they'd put me in some bullshit ass institution or whatever, and I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm not gonna kill myself ever. I will never kill myself. I will never kill myself. So I'm gonna delete this fucking video because my life feels like shit. Wife and kids are taken away from me. I found Jesus. I found God and Jesus and went back to how I was really kind before. I went back to how I was really kind before. I was never that bad. I was pretty kind before. I was really kind and good. I let them walk on me in all those schools. I couldn't be as mean as the other kids who were intentionally mean to others to try to be the most good looking, the most popular, all the earthly things that they felt in their heart were so important that they pushed with all they had. I felt wrong about it, so I ended up getting looked down on like the least of all of them, thinking that there's stuff wrong with my body and I thought I wasn't good enough, but I kept having to go to schools because God wanted me to honor my mom and dad and just to go to schools, and it was not easy for me. I would have just liked to drop out, and I was a simple man. I would have just liked to have played music on a stage. I really liked going to these shows and stuff, these punk shows, and I would have liked playing music on a stage. I also like bigger famous bands, and that's what I would have liked to do, but instead God had a different plan for me. So I had to suffer in all these schools feeling like just it was not easy. I couldn't understand what the teacher was saying. It was hard for me to go to school. I had a simple I like things simple. I was like a simple man, but I was in a boy's body, but and then my hair started growing like a man, and it just made me feel awkward, and I felt like the other kids looked too much, they looked like boys and stuff, and I felt bad about the way I looked, and I thought I didn't look good enough, but I looked good the whole time. I didn't know. And I'm gonna delete this video because now it sounds like shit. It made the first really funny part almost useless. I don't know what use means. What do you mean use? What do you fuck the shit out of an it? What the fuck is uh there's some guy in this neighborhood. He I think that's where the anxiety comes from. Uh what's the use of it? Maybe his teenage kid said that or something. What's the use of it? And he thinks that I would say it too. Like I try to use things to take the money and resources out of. Like he thinks that's what kind of person I am because he has to go to his job out there every day and it sucks and it feels bad sometimes. and he doesn't understand where I get money, but it's because I worked with my mom and dad in real estate, and I got traumatized by this big evil ass shit out there. Greater shit. It might have been the greater magic that became great. I think that's what that great was. It was greater magic or some shit. Like the satanic shit. Rituals. Rituals. No, not really. Great is good. Now, in the Bible, God is great. God is great and he's good. Everything about God is good. He's the most good one we know, but it's way more than just good because they probably have occult books that say good is bad. I hadn't thought about that until right now. It's pretty sad. And then but this, I get some anxiety from my neighbor and it says or it doesn't say anything. Nothing says anything. It's a thought that I get in my head. People get thoughts of random things and things that make sense. And so I say that so they don't put me away in some mental place because it makes me feel worse to go there. It frightens me. I don't feel good in those places. And no one's been there to help me. Usually I always had to cover all that up and no one was there to help me. I couldn't tell anyone those things because then they'd try to like make me go to those places. I had no one to go to and trust and love besides my wife and kids. She was there for me every day. Now I have pretty much no one, but I told my audience right now, oh, I have God. I have God. I'm sorry. I have no one on earth, but besides my family, some people on earth, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just lied. I didn't know what I was talking about. I just kept talking. It was a lie. I've had God all along. That's why it was okay to trust God and say the truth about how I feel. But I was afraid of that for many years. After 2014, when they did that shit to me to try to make me like put the country back to the white presidents at the end of 2014 with their big ass evil shit. It was like a necessary evil like the military, but it was really bad. And then before they could do anything too bad to anyone, like to minorities and stuff in the country, I had to suffer like Jesus across the entire country, willing for these like Illuminati horrors that were horrifying they could do to someone's body, keeping them alive with genetic manipulation. And my worry was that they do it for about 400 years to me in underground facilities. I think that's where I may have gone if I died. I may have suffered in hell for 400 years for doing the lesser magic that I think ended up putting Obama in office. And so, but then now, I mean, if I die, I'll go right to heaven, even though I've been kind of sinful trying to sell my house. I've acted kind of mean trying to sell my house, but I'd still go to heaven. I've been really kind of good. So to make up for both of the big mean things I did, and the second one that I think put Trump in office, the not greater magic, I thought it was greater magic. It was magic. It was this awful mean. It was this really mean stuff out in plain day that was very covert. That I tried to make it so they couldn't trace it back to me, and it was awful. And it tried to make everything like back to the old racist white days, and put a white president in office because they would have put me in these underground facilities for 400 years and cut off my arms and legs, put me in a little cage where I couldn't move, but and I could barely not. I could maybe I would have barely been able to breathe, and it would have been like way underground. So it used to be one of my fears, but I don't care about it anymore. One time I got sick, and it was difficult for me to breathe, and it's not frightening anymore because I found God in Jesus. So what happened was 3 years later in 2017. I couldn't sleep again when I quit taking my medicine, and I knew I had done something wrong I knew I had done something wrong. So I thought I didn't know enough about the Bible, and I thought I had to be just like Jesus. I thought I had to be Jesus. No, So I knew a good amount about the Bible because I was raised on God and Jesus. So I went back to my good ways about God and Jesus, and I had really good a really good upbringing on God and Jesus. I didn't understand much of anything about hell. We just didn't talk about that growing up, and I thought it was stupid when I became a young man, and I didn't understand what it was about. So when I saw it, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was some weird Illuminati place. It was really horrifying. But when I finally read about it in the Bible in 2019, I realized it was real. And the thing that I did is in 2017, to make up for the sin that I did, like trying to change things politically in the U.S. My idea was to make it all peaceful and good, and everyone holding hands or whatever. Not good in particular. This is way before any of that. I don't know. I didn't know it was a utopian world with maybe it was good too. I had all these ideas that I wanted to change the world, so I'd go out there and interact with people when I was at film school in California, and I tried to make the world better, holding hands with our worst enemies and stuff like that. And it was kindness and good ideas, but I was mean every day in the mean ass way I pushed things. I would just like I was just kind of mean. I was kind of mean. I wasn't that bad. I think the worst thing I did is throw these weights down really hard on the ground to scare the guy that lived below me and act like he was like a horror person who would kill his whole family. And I think it was something like that. And I would do little mean things like one at a time to people if I walked past them or something. And it was kind of bad. And because I thought everyone hated me. Even old innocent old ladies walked past me and looked down on me, and I was bad. So it caused all my depression when I got back to Roanoke. Now there's zero people watching it. That shit is unlikable. But in 2017, I found Jesus, but I didn't know, and I went across the country suffering, and I thought I had to be like Jesus, and it was really frightening. Because I thought it was the end of the world, and I thought it had to be the second coming of Jesus, and there was no good feeling when see the real second coming of Jesus is only from Jesus. He's without sin. Jesus is really good, and he's without sin. But maybe I can kill myself. It just sounds like some random ass famous person or person who's not even famous talking about random shit. But I'm not gonna kill myself. I don't have any plans to now. I don't have any plans to kill myself now, but I'm saying maybe one day I will, but not now. I don't have any plans to. Just so they don't take me away. That's the shit that they try to postpone, right? They try to postpone it to a later date just so they don't have a legal way to take me away, because it would never help me. It'll never help me when they put me in those mental places. It just, unless, you know, maybe I'm actually right about that. Maybe there's a chance that it could help me, but it hasn't so far. There's mental hospitals and stuff, but I suffered like Jesus, and to face my worst fears, the being put in cages, and the torment and torture and unrest at the hands of demons who are way more brilliant than any human in a bad way. But brilliant can be good, and God's way more brilliant than them. But then it just was awful, and but it was good. No, that wasn't. That was it was God's work, and then I suffered like feeling like I thought I had to be Jesus. I was as Jesus like as I could, literally thinking I had to be Jesus at the end of the world. I didn't understand what it was about because I had sinned too much when I was younger. I couldn't be Jesus. Jesus is without sin, and but I didn't know, and so I did the best I was able to stand up for minorities and try to get those ideas across to the entire nation everywhere I went. With everything I did, I went across the entire South. It was so frightening in some areas that were really racist. I didn't know they were still racist, and it was frightening. And they were gonna put me in a wheelchair in a real hospital and start injecting me with stuff for what I did. And I think I don't know, but I do know that when I asked them if they'd ever let me out if I signed their documents, they could not answer it. They didn't know if they'd ever let me out. So instead, after I wouldn't sign the documents, they put me in a mental place to act like everything I had done across the country was just crazy. And that's good enough for me. because after that, um, everyone, all the black people were okay, and I felt a special love in my chest, in my soul, with black people in particular and minorities more than random white people who I didn't know. And I felt more comfortable than around them than I had ever been in my entire life. But I had been maybe the meanest at a political level, but I couldn't hurt any of them in real life. But they knew everything was okay, and they also got to have a black president. They also got to have a black president, so that's pretty good. And maybe he's not that bad. People I think got afraid of Obama as Michael Jackson in the Illuminati and stuff like that. They didn't have Michael Jackson, but he was just he had to suffer. I think Michael Jackson maybe made it to heaven if you look at all the suffering he did looking that way, and the political all the worry he had to go through for getting to be like the coolest, most famous one. He was the coolest, most famous one when he looked black, and in the '80s, and then he just everyone was against him, like almost the end of the rest of his life, like the last 20 years, last 10 years of his life. He only lived to be 51 or something, or 50. I don't know how old, but he looked like shit. Look at his face. Yeah. Like they should make a horror movie on him, like coming up from the grave, but like a Michael Jackson, like he's like dead or some shit like that. But I made up for all the sin that I think all the worst sin that I had ever done, and then I had to repent for many years out in the woods, and I had really bad depression and repent for being with any other women besides my wife, which wasn't that many, but I mostly had to suffer by myself, and it was just I felt awful for any little thing I did giving women attention. It was just so I'd probably as much suffering as I did. I don't know, but I still look okay. I think, I think maybe I could actually maybe still go out to Los Angeles and be famous or something. But right now, I look a little older after all the shitty, bad stuff I talked about right now. But I don't know. I looked better at the beginning of this video, but I talked about some really sinful stuff that people maybe shouldn't have heard. Cause heard what the? I feel like my neighbor wants me to say heard to something about hair, because his hair's thinning or something. I'm not not supposed to tell which neighbor, and it's been I don't know. But now it's okay again, and I didn't even get any money for having to do this big, huge political stuff. I think that like first put Obama in office and then put Trump in office, and then now it's like everything's okay again. It's like and actually no one got hurt at it. No minorities got hurt. Jesus saved the day. I had to suffer from any of the sin I did, and everything's okay. And the problem was that like listening to heavy metal growing up, like Ozzy Osbourne and stuff. Like they had those old like they tried to get people into the occult books, and all the occult is just lies. It could be about any wrong thing, like anything that's not true, and the devil tries to trick people into saying he'll empower them with it and give them earthly things. So it could be just any wrong thing, like feces will empower you if you eat it or something like that. And then they might try to like this satanic people or something. They might it's disgusting, but I never did that. I never did that, and I just tried to like use my thoughts to it was awful. It was the first time I had ever done anything this bad. In 2004, I started using my thoughts to try to hurt others for my own personal, or not hurt them, but make them feel bad for my own personal gain. It was stupid as anything. That I thought that's how they must have all been in all those classrooms. Why I felt bad the whole time, and I started being that way to them. And but I stood up for my own like good political beliefs, like every person in the classroom was okay. Every last person besides the mean ass most popular one who had always made me feel bad and was well aware I was suffering the whole time and let me suffer through all those years of school. There's somebody like that, and sometimes here and there. And so I targeted that guy, tried to make him the least good feeling of everyone, and it sucked. It was bad. That was not that, because he was so popular anyway. Just took him down a little bit and didn't do much to him. And then no, and then and then those ideas became popular with Obama. Obama, good old Obama. He may have bombed people too. He may have bombed people more than anyone, because like somehow after he was president, like I looked at him, his face looked like, his eyes looked like a murderer or something, like he had done some bad things, like gone to war against like people or something the wrong way, or like gave the, I don't know, he had done something wrong. It looked like but I don't know if that's true. And no one can judge him besides God. And maybe he's just a regular black man who was good, who, I don't know. People started thinking he was a Muslim and had gay sex with all these Muslim men. I don't know what that is. That's why I was worried, because I'm Italian. I'm Italian, and I thought he took an interest in me. I thought he was going to give me AIDS, so I thought I had to like destroy his administration. And I started being really mean. He's going to give me AIDS, and that was just the beginning of the hell and shit that they would have done to me for like about 400 years. So I did all this mean stuff out there because I didn't have God and Jesus. So I did the wrong crap that made no sense. I was just like more mean about it, and then it just put in their president, person in office, or whatever they called it. And I think if I hadn't done it, I would have died, and it would have maybe turned America into a jungle. Like it would have become a warm climate. And I think Russia would have like attacked us and become more like a third country here, a third world country here, I think. But I didn't start thinking about that or like reason until way later. But I think that's crazy. That's wrong. Because I like hearing like everything got dark and dismal after I said that. That's wrong. That's a crazy ass idea of the devil's. Like to pretend that like any kind of meanness or stuff like that is good. It's just not good. And so I didn't really get any credit for any of that, and I don't deserve it, because Jesus deserves the credit, because it was meanness the ways that I tried to like change things politically in the U.S. and and I didn't even get to be president. And I don't know. I don't know, unless some people think that I have delusions of grandeur. Like I thought I was the one who, caused everything to be different. But I know what I was standing up for in school, at film school, when I was in Southern California. And it was for, way better, a way better America than I had grown up in the 90s, because I didn't like the immediate world around me, and that was one of the reasons I left to Los Angeles, to hope, to work at the famous stuff I like to do. But instead I had to go to a bunch of school, and then what was good about it was I got to learn how to do stuff in school. And then I came back home. All I did was go to school, and then come right back home, like all the people I never wanted to be like. All the people in my family who tried to go to California to be famous, or they went on tour as a musician and they just came right back home and just got a regular job. I never wanted to be like any of them, unless it was a kind, good way that their soul is good, like they're my family and they made it to heaven and they're kind and good. I'd like to be like them. But really, I was supposed to honor my wife, and me and her really liked working at the famous stuff. No one else really got it. She went out there in these small towns besides my kids. So they were taken away from me, and it sucks. And I think I can get them back now, but I don't know. At least I had stuff to relate to with them. Like, I don't know. I have stuff to relate to with other people. It just felt like shit, and I've been selfish. A little bit for, I don't know what. I just don't feel that good right now, but, my videos and films right now are earning with a Ronald McDonald video on her channel, maybe like 100 or 200 a month. And on my channel, the only money I'm actually getting from it is like $20 a month. So it sucks. I was gonna go to Los Angeles and finally make a living at stuff, and I have God and Jesus now, and everything's good, and I know the truth about what the Bible really says, and I'm really kind of good. So I may as well just stayed here in my own and God's way, and who knows if my films or videos ever would have made it. I've been working at that for so long, and it still hasn't earned much money. That has almost killed me like 2,000 times with depression, with hoping to die 2,000 times because that hasn't made enough money yet, and I had to work at this other stuff, which is way worse, because it just, it's like work that, if you had to work at stuff that you really didn't like and just had to keep doing it and keep doing it, and it like, it just, and then as soon as it was done, you're like, wow, have a few months or however long, maybe 6 months or 8 months. I'm gonna work as hard as I can imagine at my films and videos. This time it's really gonna do. I'm gonna do my best work, and this time we'll make it. And I've been doing that for like 30 years, and it still is not there yet. So, and then having to go back to the other stuff made me depressed. I think every time for about 8 years now that I've done that, and it used to just make me sad before that. It didn't make me depressed, unless here and there it made me depressed. Oh yeah, it made me depressed in 2006 when I had to be a real estate agent. I just don't like that kind of work. It just makes me feel like, wow, this is what you did with your life. Your dream didn't happen. Can't even say the word dream because it's like, I don't know why politically somebody doesn't like it, or who knows what. If I go to California, maybe I can do the things I like. I don't know. So it's been like a shit ass life that didn't get to be famous yet, doing other people's stupid ass political shit, having to work at jobs that they approved of, had my wife and kids taken away from me, but I still look good, kind of, and am healthy enough. And actually, it's really fun sometimes. It just felt like shit in this video. Shit. Might as well shit myself one, incinerate my whole entire body of the evil shit that they pushed on me. That when I was a kid, I never understood any of that. I was innocent of the sin. I didn't know what any of those mean people were doing. There were many people around me who did stuff like that. They'd act like they'd hurt others and rape them and stuff in meanness and say things like that. And I never did any of that towards anyone. I couldn't understand why they would say those things. I thought it was stupid. I didn't like it. I like playing music and the stuff I like to do that I thought was fun. And I thought, that's the stuff I was hoping to do one day. So but then they got me to do the mean ass shit like a few years ago. In 20, actually more than that, in 2014, it was 9 years ago. And and then I was a little bit mean in 2004. So I'm not going to do it anymore. And then trying to sell the house, I've been a little bit mean, but it hasn't been that bad. I've made up for the sin. I had to get really depressed for about 12 days. There were 4 days at a time where I barely made it through that. And then I got to rest for a day, another 4 days of really bad depression, and then another 4 days of really bad depression. I barely made it through each one. And that was like a few weeks ago from just all the work I've had to do getting the house sold to have like $200,000 so I'd be able to make it in California. And then like it was really stressful and trying to keep in shape and feeling like I've been older looking and not as good looking. That's felt like shit. That's felt, I mean, I'm not a jerk about it, but I've felt like I haven't looked good enough for about 2.5 years. I felt really bad about the way I look. And I can't even run right now because of my weight. I'm not light enough. Well, I could run. Maybe I can run. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. God knows. Jesus knows. So I'm like literally in my car right now. So if this is what I have to do to get the work done in the house, it just, it's felt like living in the car. I've had to use the bathroom in the woods, eat in the car, sometimes take naps and sleep in the car. You know, it's almost like living in a car, but I haven't had to spend the night in one. Besides when I went to California in 2020 or 2020, I don't know when I went last time. Last year, I went to California and it sucked. I had to sleep in my car, in this car, and spend like 24 hours straight driving just to find a cheap ass motel. I didn't have enough money. I went there with like $6,000 or something like that. And they say you need 20,000 to move to California, to move to LA to work at acting and stuff. They say you need $20,000 just to move there. But my mom and dad said, no, you don't. That's not true. And you look up right on Google, it's the first search result you need. Well, you might not need that much because I might have to go there on less, and I could sleep in a car or wherever I have to if I really have to keep my house. I can just if I have to keep my house like and I can't rent it out, and I need to get to California to work to make enough money. Like if my mom and dad get angry at me or whatever, they don't want to help me with money until I can leave. Which I'm not asking for money. I've never asked them for money, but my mom tried to like give me money like her grandmother gave her father, and I just I don't understand why she would just give me money and stuff. Just money and food and uh really nice stuff. She'd give me things, but she's not my wife, and it's just I don't know. My dad doesn't like me to talk to. Well, I think he doesn't think I need a psychiatrist, but that's good because with all the stuff he went through in Vietnam, like he thought, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters, but he had a way of it not affecting him permanently, so he didn't get like shell shock or something like that. But I had to end up being just like, well, not just like my dad, but a little bit like my dad. Thank God I'm not just like him. And so it's sad. He's a good man, but he was raised on a farm. He was born on a farm in Ireland, and everything was okay. And his mom and dad loved him. He had this short man, this little man who's a wee man, not that fucking famous person. He was just, they didn't have as much money. They were farmers. And when he was 2 years old, I think, they sent him off to America to live with his well-to-do um, aunt or something, or cousin or aunt. And I don't know who, but she really loves him. His real mother who God had to raise him, Mary, she's the one from America, and his real dad was a big police officer one, and that's who God had raised him. So they wanted him to raise him, and they're okay. But it's funny about my dad. He's kind of nice. He's really nice. He's not like, sometimes I worried he was like really Republican and into the military and stuff that I was afraid of. And then I realized, liberal and Republicans kind of the same. It's not that, no one no one should really be, so few people should really be all Republican or liberal. There are so many, like people try to get angry and take sides. That doesn't matter. God and Jesus matter. Excuse me. God and Jesus matter, but I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to kill myself. God and Jesus are what's important. The other stuff like doesn't matter. God and Jesus are what's important. That means kindness to others, forgiving others, uh, not being selfish, stuff like that. And I guess it acknowledges that you're supposed to like doing things too, because you're supposed to be kind to others as you would to yourself. So it's not that bad to be kind to yourself, but it doesn't really say to be. I don't know where it says that in the Bible. I don't know. So that's good that God and Jesus are good. Here's the sun. The sun just came out there. The sun is, and it sounds like there's some big ass helicopter. I don't know there, and I don't know. It's just a nice helicopter. I used to be so afraid of planes and helicopters. I thought it was just crazy ass military stuff that was going, the Illuminati that wanted to like, there were aliens or something. I was like so worked up and on edge out there until I found God and Jesus and I found out it's not real. It was like the tricks of the devil to like do crazy ass shit to me to try to, I don't know what that is. Because I won't. Because now I read the Bible and I know it's true and real. So just try to calm down, and if they hurt your body, don't worry about it. Like if they try to hurt your body, don't worry, but don't let them also don't let them send your soul to hell. So if they hurt your body, it's probably not going to even hurt. They just say mean words and stuff, and if like somebody says, "Hey, it'll kill you," and it's, like do some mean thing in particular your body, like you're supposed to forgive them. But people can be really mean when if you start trying to like make more money and stuff, like have enough money and do things that you want to do that you may not be as important as God and Jesus. But I mean, do you like doing things you like to do? Of course, everyone likes to. But I think unless you're just besides, well, that's wrong because Jesus liked being just like God. That's what he liked. Oh yeah, that's what he liked too. Everyone likes to do. It's true. Yeah, fart in my own mouth as if he's saying cool shit. Down south don't matter. Rick, right rhyme. Kill yourself. Cut up your body with a blade. No. Cut up my own body. I don't know. Cut up my body with a blade. I'll put gills inside your body, John. There's no one's ever been that mean to me. No one's ever actually hurt my body. I think. I think no one's ever hurt my body. Well, they've tried to with their mind, but not like in real, not with physical harm. But they have tried to use their heart with all their heart to hurt my body. I think that's the problem. You can't think bad things with all your heart. Like I hate that fucking person. I hope they're dead. This is terrible. It's just, but it's bad. It's really bad because that's like killing somebody. It's all, well, it's not as bad. It's really bad to think bad things about anyone with all your heart. You're supposed to. I don't know. I'm too afraid to share love with other people, but that's what God. This is what we're supposed to do because God is really good, and God is love. That's where all the love comes from. But so it's not lust. Lust is wrong. That's bad. Sexual stuff like lust or fornication is wrong and bad. There's no crazy ass government things in the woods. Don't worry about that stuff. They're not trying to. That's just tricks of the devil. It's not real. God and Jesus are real. God and Jesus are real. Like this crap. Let me tell you this. Look. See that? See that thing that has like electronics on the back of it? It's not a real stump. The one with the light on it has electronics on it. See? It's no. It's like some people think stuff like that, and it's not true. I don't even want to film this. I just don't know. It felt okay to do because I couldn't find enough food, and so I made a video. Hey. Hey. It's been awful. It's been awful, and I don't know. And like here's a problem I've had is that I think I used the word FAGGOT or whatever it's called. Like get well, that wasn't that. That's not actually not it. I just realized that's not it. The problem is that I was like too worried and uptight or whatever it's called to like I didn't like the way it felt on my own butt. And I was supposed to act like some of that, like who cares? You're not actually doing anything gay on my, like I wasn't doing anything gay on my own butt. So I was supposed to act like more normal about that, like other people, but I was so worried
I had this crazy idea that my dad, if he thought I was even the smallest bit gay, I thought he would put me through the seeing hell shit and all the horrific hell shit of the end of 2014. But he didn't. He wasn't. I know he wasn't the one who did it, but he had played some part in it. But he wasn't. I know he wasn't the one who did it. Like the people were angry that Obama was in office and tried to put in more of like a white president and not the gay pride and liberal stuff and minorities and like having way more power and stuff that they got angry at or something. But I don't think he. I think he just wanted me to eat meat and stand up for the military and have a short haircut and work every day, or something like that. And so I would, but I had to see hell to actually end up doing the things I did because I'd worked so hard in my movies already, and then had to like keep working at their stuff, and so it was like I couldn't get enough sleep, and I started to see hell and crap like that. But so I think I know what the point is. You're trying to say, oh, he's not working right now. Well, there are these men working on my house, and I've been taking it easy right now because I worked for my dad for 20 years. No matter how I felt, I had to sometimes work 24 hours straight in a day. Have you ever worked at hard labor 24 hours straight? Have you ever fucking, did your body even do that without, what happened to me was at the end of the day, I could barely walk to the door to lock the door and barely walk to the bed. And when I finally lay down in the bed, I couldn't move an inch. It was felt like uh, uh, so heavy I couldn't move my arms and that were next to me laying back in the bed. Couldn't even move an inch. I couldn't move an inch. So I just went to sleep, and that fucking Ozzy got to just play music and do whatever he felt like his whole life. But and then the next morning I had to get out of bed, and it was so hard to get out of bed and work another like 12 hours or something like that. I don't know if that was the day after. The longest I ever worked was 24 hours at stuff like homes, but that was way harder for me to do than working at editing or something. I may have worked like 30 hours editing one time because I actually enjoy my work and I'm good at it, like editing video, film, and video, film, editing or whatever. But that's work that I'm good at, and I never was mean about that. I never did anything mean about that work. And for some reason, like, but I did have to work on homes. That was a shitty thing. And after the hours like that, like 24 hours one day, the next day 12 hours. Some days I couldn't go on like 6 hours, and on average 12 hours a day for 8 months, every day with no days off. I did that for 8 months indoors until I just collapsed outside and was barely able to breathe in 32-degree weather, and I had to call out to help for my neighbor, and there's no one home, and besides me and God and Jesus, and then and with he wasn't at my home, but God, I was with God and Jesus. So when I was on the ground and could barely breathe, I called my friend Alex. Well, first I said help. I actually had to say that. I had to ask someone else for help. That was I couldn't believe that I had to do that. And then because after the incident or whatever at the end of 2014, I was like, I couldn't trust anyone after that. I didn't know who to trust anymore. I didn't have my wife and kids to go with everything. But as time, well, I started, since I have God, I've been able to tell the truth about that. I still don't really tell people all the truth about how I eat and the caffeine, but I could just say it right here if people really want to know how I like to eat, because I'm afraid they'll do it to me again, like try to make me eat meat at every meal and stuff. So, but I pretty much like ethical vegan food, like so much, in organic food, like how it actually is from the trees without any sprayed stuff on it, that I'd probably want to move to California just because I like the food there better or something. But I don't know what I'm talking about, because I know from God that the food here is good enough that I like the food here. But I've gotten tired of the food because I don't cook the food. Sometimes I don't. I just don't like eating meat that much. But they'll get really angry if I start saying anything about that. So uh, sometimes I've had to eat meat just so they don't get angry, and they think you need it for your health. They think that you need it for your health, and so I don't know. But you can take B vitamins and get all kinds of different food, but I'll eat it sometimes because actually it has way more. Oh shit! It can help muscle more, I think, because that's how I gained as much muscle as I have now. Because they try to feed me all these super heavy meats, these really heavy meats at every meal, like to celebrate after doing mean ass shit out there every day to make it like stand up for their ways again. And then I had to eat heavy meats, and it was all I could eat, or I was afraid I'd be incapacitated and taken down to hell with zombies or something, and or become a zombie. I thought that's how they brought people back to life after they died. It was really scary what would happen if I thought I'd end up incapacitated or something, and it was frightening, and I don't know. And so it was all wrong and lies of the devil. It was the lies of the devil. But meat's good. Meat's good. There's nothing wrong with meat, I think. But it's because of the sin on earth. It's because of the sin on earth. In heaven, no one will eat meat because they're not going to kill anyone in heaven. They're not going to kill any animals, and there'll be no more Old Testament rituals. So no one's going to eat meat in heaven. No one's going to eat meat in heaven, but this is the earth, and there's sin on the earth, so it's supposed to be okay to eat meat on earth. Like, I think I was kind of wrong to be mean about being a vegan, because I used to not care if meat eaters all died or something. I was such a vegan that I thought it was pretty bad. I thought, like, they're killers. I really believed. I thought, wait, they look at those nice, kind animals who've never hurt anyone, a pig who's more intelligent than a dog, and a cow who's really intelligent, but a pig may not be as more intelligent than a dog. I don't know. I think maybe PETA gave me the wrong ideas. Like, PETA shows this footage of but I like PETA. They didn't really do it. I think I just got the wrong ideas by thinking that, like, how could anyone hurt those kind, good animals? They didn't hurt anyone. And I thought they must be killers. They just must be killers. And and it was just wrong. So I thought some mean stuff. I only said it once or twice about meat eaters. And most of the time I was pretty good. I just liked eating vegan. And that's pretty much really how I was. I wasn't that bad. But they got pissed at something. I don't know what. Oh, I started thinking that if people ate meat, they'd get cancer. I literally believed it. I thought it would cause cancer more. And then they just got really pissed off. And so I had to eat all this meat. And I don't know. It feels like some stupid ass fly was in here. It's like one little annoying freaking fly makes everything like just crazy sometimes, but not in a bad way. Like, crazy hasn't meant anything bad since the 90s. Crazy was supposed to be cool because this one guy, his uncle, they'd call him crazy, and he'd do all these like things that were kind of against the law and stuff, but he like acted like he was cool, and he didn't go to jail. But then one time he literally killed someone, and then he literally had to go to prison for it because he killed someone. And I don't know what it was, but no one ever killed anyone well, some people got in fights in high school. That was stupid. They get in fights, but they try to act cool, and like it was for some reason. I don't know if he killed someone or not. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But crazy was supposed to mean like cool, like they might do things kind of against the law, but like the cops didn't care anyway or something, and they did crazy stuff. They're supposed to be cool, but it never meant that like somebody was unable to think properly. Oh, fly. I don't want to fly, man. See, that's where the anxiety comes from. Like right then, I had an opportunity to finally rest and finally be at peace, but then it was like a fly landing on me. Like I have to pretend. I just don't like that. I have to get dental tools to scrape the plaque off my teeth. I haven't wanted to look for them where I thought they'd be, so I'm going to have to do that. Or get dental tools in the mail. It's embarrassing. I wouldn't want to tell anyone about it. I wouldn't want to tell anyone. But you can scrape the well, you'd have to do it the right way, like you'd have to learn how to do that. I don't know, because I don't know who I can go to as a dental assistant or dentist in Roanoke, because I found a really good dentist and dental assistant, and they were the best. And I felt like I had no flaws on my face. I was really good looking. I felt really confident. Like that's when I actually felt okay. Like that's why there's a fly there. No, but I felt okay in the dentist office. I didn't have anxiety. And this girl or this woman was so nice to me in there. She's like a few years older than me. She was this cool person. She listened to the same kind of music as me growing up. Many of the kids listen to weird music looking back. And that was like, ugh, why is there a fly in here? And then for some reason she wouldn't, I don't know. She wouldn't be in the she wouldn't be my dentist anymore, and I didn't want to like be in a relationship with her because I don't know, it was just, and I was supposed to be like better friend, maybe I was supposed to be better friends with her, and then she got angry and wouldn't be my dental assistant person, dentist, somebody like that, and then without her, fucking gross, a fly, and without her getting to do my teeth, I don't know who I can go to, because I tried to go to the same place when she wouldn't help me with my teeth in there, and it was like really just awful. It was scary or something, not scary, but it was just like I haven't gone in there since. I had to walk out of the place and get out of there, you fucking fly. I'm sorry I cursed. I didn't mean to curse. I'm just trying to tell the fly there's a disgusting fly. Yeah, my neighbor tries to pretend like disgusting, like I'm not only a Mexican, but I'm Stimpy, Ren and Stimpy, who's gonna have my body all torn up and crap. Like to give me an anxiety about it, because maybe I was mean to him one time or something. Like he tries to, like, for some reason, because I'm next to my neighbor, it's like I get the thought like disgusting. Like when I try to say things are disgusting, like a fly, and it sounds like disgusting, like Ren and Stimpy, like that Mexican Chihuahua. and Mexican Chihuahua, and but Alex, I like the new guy too, but Alex, I really liked Alex, and then at the end he started acting really sexy to everybody, and like, and and then he just left. The new guy's okay, he's just different. He's just than Alex, and it's, I don't know. Don't that stupid fly came in here. Oh. And then Alex met this girlfriend. It was weird because she was a child. She was still a child. Like God had her still be a child, and I learned that an adult is 20 years old or older, and a woman or a girl who's 19 is not yet a woman. And she was 19 when he met her, and she walked in the house and she was like a child. It was like almost she gave me this Rice Krispies treat and said, "Here is Rice Krispie treat." But she didn't do anything sexual or lust. There's none of that. She was kind of innocent with that about me, but when she turned 20. I don't know. She parked in my driveway one time. I didn't know what she was doing there. She kept trying to stay to use the internet, and it made me feel weird. And like, but one time she, oh no, one time what she did, no, but she brought an innocent, like a Rice Krispies treat, but it looked like really pink, like her skin. It was so weird, and she liked the texture of things, like I think because I know she was still a child, even though she was 19. So when you're 19, you're still a child, or 18, you're still a child, even though the law recognizes that and as adult. That's an adult, but God knows they're still a child. So the law is pretty close. There are reasons why the law says that. Well, the law is the Old Testament, but I don't know. The law is pretty close on what's right and wrong in the U.S. I didn't know that. And when I thought I had to be like Jesus, I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to go to jail and break the law. I thought, but that was wrong. Uncle Latino, get the fuck out of here. Fly, no. It touched my hair. No. Oh, no. It's so just, there's a fly flying around. It touched my hair. Oh no, I didn't realize this is the kind of hair that I had. Get out of here! You go outside. This is the weirdest looking fly. He's not as into feces and crap. I think he's some other kind of, I don't know. I think he doesn't get as gross as the other flies. But he's still flying. He touched my hair. Look how my hair looks. My hair. Like it looks like I don't know. I don't know. Is that a fly? It looked so gross. I don't know. I feel like I don't know what I deserve anymore after I said that mean crap about all the sin I did. Where is that fly? You know, I just like to make a living at my films and videos, but I don't want the glory for sin. I don't deserve the glory for sin. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that as much unless I write it into an autobiography and make a movie on it, and then like don't encourage anyone with sin. Don't introduce anyone to sin. Ugh. That fly. Ugh. There's a fly. It's my sunroof, my shitty sunroof. No, it's not that bad. This is a good car. This is not the ceiling. This is actually an okay car. It has to be washed. I had to get out of the car. I'll just turn this video off or something. I don't know. But I found God and Jesus before it was too late. Like, people have these crazy ideas that don't make any sense, that the devil gives them the wrong ideas, or they just don't understand enough about Jesus and God because they don't have God's truth about reading in the Bible. Maybe they're raised on it, but then or maybe they get misled in their faith. And then that's when they're believing random crap, and then it makes them feel bad. And it hurts them and hurts others, the sin. Like it's sometimes right, sometimes wrong, but without God and Jesus, they don't know the truth. So when you read God and Jesus in the Bible, that's what it's all about. It's not like me preaching it. You have to read about what Jesus is about in the Bible. And kids don't really have to as much unless their mom and dad, maybe they do, because God raises children too. God raises children, and their mother and father raise children. raise their children. See, God raises all children. All children are raised by God, but they need a mother and father too. Usually, they need a mother and father. This is weird. They usually need a mother and father. And I, she hasn't let me. She hasn't let me be there at their house to raise them with her. So, and that's how we usually raise them. And so I don't know how to get there, but I've gone there 9 times, I think, or 10. I think I've gone there 10 times. It's not supposed to be 9 or 8. I made it there 8 times. I don't know. And I don't know. There's some animal I heard in the woods. Some animals in the woods. I feel awful for talking about the bad meanness. No. Some animal, some bug just went onto my arm. I'm actually literally 45 years old. So I don't know why I sound like I'm so young. This is awful. Some bug keeps crawling around me. I hope it wasn't that weird fly. I don't like flies as much as, yeah, you don't like flies as much. I don't know what that means. I'm so tired of all of it. I have to use the bathroom and don't know how I'm going to use the bathroom. I have to make a number 2 because like they're doing work to my house and I don't know where to make a number 2. And I'm so tired of staying in this car because I wasn't supposed to be at the house. So I would have kind of gotten in the way. And I've done so much work on the house myself. I can't really do much more, I think, unless I really have to. And it may have taken a year for me to do it myself. But now they've done most of it, so if I really have to, maybe I can. I don't know. But they can and they will. I don't know. You're getting ready to fly in a plane? Some Kirsten Baker said she's getting ready to fly, or he's getting ready to fly. She's getting ready to fly on a plane. She's getting ready to fly on a plane. I don't know. For the first time. She's. Where are you flying to? Somewhere. I'm not trying to meet someone who, you know, I'm not into. I don't know. Great, you're flying on a plane. Okay, great. I gotta take the poo. This is the weirdest looking tree. Look how weird it looks in this tree. Like some of these woods are so weird. It looks like that was like this is a Solonovich tree. It looks like that's like the legs. Like it's like the legs of some weird body. Like it looks like weird. Like it's like kind of, it's like almost creepy but really good. There's no place like this on earth that I'd ever been to. It was so weird. I knew it was creepy. One time I just drove out of this neighborhood. It was too creepy. And then I got lured back in. I wanted to stay here. And it looks like there's someone hiding behind it. Like there's her eyes, or there's the eyes, and like there's its head, and it's like hiding behind the person with the weird legs. See, this is the weird art that, see, there are no woods here when the Solonovich people got here, and they're like really brilliant artists. They're determined to be like, you know, like really good at art, but in a kind way. And so all the woods grew up as these artists were in the neighborhood making a big presence, not president, they didn't like any of that stuff for them, you know, but their granddaughter does. She wants her son. She wants her son to be president. I don't know why. Their great granddaughter. Yeah, great granddaughter or granddaughter or grandson. No, grandson. Yeah, her. But I don't want to mention all their names. I don't know if they want it. But these woods weren't here, and one of the kids wants to be a president now. I think he's like my son's age, one of my son's age. but like all the trees grew up when they're doing art and trying to make like, you know, really brilliant, really good art, because that's what they did. They're like really cool and good at it. They didn't try to take it to like a level like being the best on earth to have ever lived or something, but they you know, I had to calm down with that, almost that to where I had to act like I was almost like a special needs person, because I at one time had a 200 IQ and tried to be like the best artist to have ever lived, better than anyone or something. And then so like they still kept kind of cool at what they but they acted like, so this is so weird that this is looks like a strange creature that was like around, like back then, like that's its legs, like that's its leg, and that's its other leg, and that's his body, like, and that's some kind of thing on its head, and it goes all the way up to that like weird thing as its head. And there's some like little person behind it, and like all the trees grew up around here when they're doing this like brilliant kind of weird art that was good and, you know, beautiful and good. And there were apple orchards here. This was a beautiful like a farmland with apple trees. And when the Solanoviches got here, the oak trees started growing. And so there's this really cool looking weird art, like in like sometimes any, like these just pieces of wood around here. They're so weird and different. And it's because they did art, and that's what they made a huge presence and owned all these woods and built houses here, like art houses. So some of the woods, like look, some of the wood here looks weird, the trees and stuff. That was one of them. That was one of them that's still left. Whatever this tree is, whenever the Solanoviches were here, I think that's from when they were here. Yeah, I can tell. It looks really weird. Like that's like one of the legs, and that's one of the legs, and it's like an old thing with like a creepy something behind it, like a somebody like piggyback on the back of whoever it is. Like that's one of the weird things. Sometimes I used to find them all the time, but they're good and kind. There's nothing bad about it. There's never anything bad about it, besides one time the neighbor, I think, I listened to Led Zeppelin, and I was almost going to invite this girl over, this young woman, and she called herself like Nymph something, and I didn't know why. And then I could almost hear my daughter, who's 6 now, and I think she was 3 or 4 or 5. This is a few years ago, and she sounded like I could hear her voice way up, like as if she finally made it here or at some time, and she was a teenager, like up on the mountain, a young woman, and I could hear her voice echoing, like trying to allure men or something, like she had become a nymph, and it felt bad and wrong, and I didn't want her to give anyone that kind of attention. So I got really angry and drove off the mountain, said I'm just gonna leave and not even live here anymore. And that was the only time. And then that night I said I've got to come back. And I had been here too long. I had been here for 5 years, and I kept staying and staying. And when I left the neighborhood, I thought I didn't know where I was going to go, but I let God guide me somehow. And so I first went to one of my friend's houses, and there's a party there, and I thought, oh, he's throwing a party with his friends. And so I got out of the car and walked up, and it was these like I thought he was partying with these people, but it was his son, and his son was a big teenager and throwing a big party, and years had gone by, and I made it to the door somehow to like, I talked to him. His son, you know, I didn't make it to the door. Come on, I don't party. This, you know, I may have drank once every 3 years as a get together with them. We don't party. And so anyway, so I got to his house, and somehow I had to talk. Well, I talked to his son, and I was nice, got along with him, and he came to the door, and he had gained a little weight. He's not older, but he looked considerably older because he had just gained some weight at that time. You know, he's lost weight since then, but at the time he looked way older. And then I went to my other friend's. I talked to him. He was almost going to call off the party and we'd be the cool ones or something, but it felt wrong. So I just left and let his sons they weren't having a party, you know, they didn't drink at all. They're having like literally fruit punch and I don't know what, something like that. You know, they're teenagers he wouldn't let them drink. And so then I went to my other friend's house, and he came to the door, and he had a long gray beard. He really had a a long gray beard, like a I'm afraid to show myself because I really have to use the bathroom, and but he had a long gray willow beard, like it was this long. It was a long gray beard. It was like he showed up at the door and it was like this long. It was like, oh god, I look like shit. Gosh, praise God, praise Jesus. I'm sorry I used the Lord's name in vain. I have to really take a crap. I looked awful. He had a long gray beard, but now he shaved it off. Now he shaved it off and looks normal. But he had a gray beard, like it looked like he was like Rumpelstiltskin or somebody like that. And and um and so years had gone by and it felt so creepy, and I had left the neighborhood. When I was leaving the neighborhood, it looked really creepy. And then I didn't know where to go after that, so I had to come home after I saw my friends, and I realized many years had gone by, and that I stayed in this neighborhood for like 5 years or something. And so then for 5 years, and then so I drove back up the neighborhood, and this is the weirdest thing. I've never seen anything this bad, but there's a giant snake's jaw guarding the road, on the road, like in the trees. It made the shape of a snake's mouth, and it was on the road, and it was like when I was driving up the hill to go home. It was at night, and it looked like maybe the devil or something. Not it. It wasn't the devil. Okay, I know what the devil is. It was not the devil. It was a snake, and it could have been symbolic of the devil. And I didn't know where else to go. I didn't know where else to go into town, and I didn't like going into town, and I just wanted to go home, and I really liked staying here, and I kept staying and staying. So I just drove right through it. I just drove right through it and went home. And then it felt awful for days. It was dark and like depressing, and I got really depressed, and I was afraid to go to Texas for how it felt there, because she was still angry at me after 8 years or 7. Well, back then it was 6 years, and so it was like just awful, and I don't want to live that way. And so I don't want to live here as an old ass. I don't want to become an old ass like person who lives out here talks like this, or something like this old person has to take a poo, or I don't know. And like, I don't know, that didn't even sound like it, but like a weird, like a European person, like how they were 400 years ago in the medieval times or something. Like, and like some of this was like creepy in the way that this stuff looked like. That's his leg and that's his leg, and it's like, oh, Peabody person or something, like but not like the Peabody from my movie. That was a nice name. That was a kind name. But like a weird old medieval stuff that showed up, like this neighborhood, because they were, I don't know, like an old European, like really white people who are like, old England times, or like, I don't know, not that bad, not really England, but like kind of Europe, like people from the old countryside of Europe or something. That's what this stuff looked like. But it wasn't dark and scary. It was like kind of, I don't know, this neighborhood, like the homes look like they're like, they're made in that design from like hundreds of years ago, that same style from how they learned how to build the homes. And they got old wood and stuff. Well, not old wood, but like really good quality wood. That was huge pieces of wood from these like amazing buildings from like 200 or 100 years ago. Not 200, but 100 years ago. And they put them in the houses when they were tearing the buildings down. They got the wood for free, but it was actually really high quality wood from some of these historic buildings in downtown Roanoke and various places that were like, that they used to build the house. And they found really high quality stuff. That's what they made the houses out of. And so they're kind of older, but not like 400 years old. But the style of homes that they built were like 400 years old. And there's something about it. There's like a little bit like not the occult, not as bad as the occult, but like almost earthly or something, almost earthly. I think people, like, if they keep staying, if they like it too much, they just get old. I think they get old if they really, really like it and they keep wanting to stay forever. Because Inga got up to, I think, 97, and she looked a little creepy when she got up to 97, and then she died. It's not that old, just 97. But So I could keep living here. You don't have to look old in particular, but it was kind of weird and creepy. I don't know. But it was good. It was good weird. It was God. This is where I found God and Jesus. This is where I found God and Jesus. This mountain with at my house. But it feels like creepy. Like it's kind of crazy. And I think the painters went home and I can just go home. I think that's why it was weird and creepy, and it kept just being creepy and weird as I talked. I was supposed to just go home. So I'm just gonna go home. I guess I'm just gonna go home. And this is how rich people do that I don't put first, but I think this is how they do. They get an idea and they say they're gonna do it, and then they just do it. They don't think about it. They don't take their time. You know, I might have to use a bathroom. I don't know where I'm going to use a bathroom because I really have to use a bathroom. So I may go to the bathroom in the woods, but I don't know. And then maybe I can make it home and use the bathroom at home. The same way, use the same toilet used in the bathroom all by myself. It's not that fun. It's like sometimes everything gets okay again, but it's really weird. I had a dream about Danica that was like that out at this house. See, this neighborhood is so weird that sometimes it's like an alien planet. It is so weird, and people really like it. Like my neighbor Tom really likes it, and he has a small house, but it's like made in that old, like 400 years old style. So it's like it has this weird. It looks like a 400-year-old house, and it looks like from the old European times, and like the European countryside. And so I had a dream about Danica like a week or two ago. I had a dream about Danica a week or two ago, and she finally made it here, and we were older. We were in our 50s, but starting to get old, but like still look young, like we could still act young. And she may have been 60, but still looked young, and like her face and eyes like still were like kind of bright and like looked young. And she was like taking a shower, and it wasn't sexual at all. No one could see what she looked like, but there's this weird screen right outside the shower. And I think she had lusted after a man or something, or other man besides me, but we were still married. It wasn't that bad of a sin, so we were still staying together, and it was in her dream. And there's this leaf that was like a fresh, really green leaf that looked like from another. It was so beautiful and sunny out, and it looked like it was from another planet, like an alien planet. But it was on the screen window, like right outside where she was taking a shower. But she had lusted after another man or something. So like she didn't know, and she was singing in the shower, and it sounded like. And it just sounded, it was good. There's never anything bad about this neighborhood. An alien planet is from heaven, and from the heavens. It's from the heavens. It's literally, when you read the Bible enough, aliens are from the heavens. So there may be alien planets in the heavens, and they're good. They're angels who live there. So it's like so weird and different. I think that it's almost heavenly out here. That's really how I felt here. But we don't really have any idea of how beautiful and good and different from what we may have thought heaven really is. So it's like cool too, or like in ways that we think things are like not just really good and beautiful. Like in heaven now, I think where heaven is now, I don't know if this is true, but it's supposed to be all white, beautiful light and no shadows on anything, and just this really bright light that there's love and the love of God and Jesus. And when heaven's brought to earth, it'll be different. It'll be like maybe like an alien planet or something. and then all these weird bugs were in that really green leaf that was like, but not gross bugs. It was like these fresh alien bugs that looked like almost worms, and these like strange worm-like bugs from an alien planet. There's in this really fresh green leaf that was like swinging on the out. It was just hovering on the outside of the screen window when she was taking a shower, and it was sunny out. Well, it was like in the beautiful woods and like some shade, but really sunny where there's sun, and she was singing in the shower, and it sounded like almost like she was from an alien planet. She was going, "Babushka, you Bobby," or like it wasn't like that kind of alien. It wasn't those little aliens that came out wrong. It wasn't like those little aliens they show people with the big eyes or whatever. Unless those are some aliens or angels, maybe. But it sounded like and no, it came out wrong again. It sounded like there's little aliens with the little aliens with the big eyes. I don't know why. I can't redo how it sounded, but it sounded like this alien planet that was like, I don't know. See it? So I'm gonna turn the car around, drive home. I can't even. It was like, I don't know, but I still would have, of course I would be married to her even if she was that much older, but I don't want to wait that long for us to get that old to finally get to be together again. You know, we'd be in our 50s or 60 if I waited as long as that dream was when we were finally together living at this house. You know, I don't know if I can make it that long alone, and I don't know if I'll be happy enough by myself for that long. But I don't want to fornicate or anything like that. I don't like that stuff. This is awesome. This is pretty good. This is kind of like what the alien planet would look like here if when heaven's brought to Earth. I don't know, but it's not. You know, it's like. But we're gonna get old. You know, we might end up being really old. Maybe really old. Who knows? My plan. I thought I'd get really old, be really old, and just stay at this house till I get really, really old, like 140, something like that. I don't know. God has a plan for us. I might only live to be 82, or might die tonight in my sleep, or I don't know. I don't know. I might not be able to film a video right now if I think it's like too much getting the glory for stuff. Oh, I feel awful about how fast I drove on this road. I got angry for some reason. I don't know why. Something drove me to anger. I got really angry and drove really fast. I hit somebody's thing with my car a little bit, just intentionally. Like he left some kind of junk, and it was like, I don't know, I shouldn't have done that, but the aliens aren't, I think they're not at all what we may think they're like, but they may have some of those aliens like people have seen, like the ones that have big eyes and little, or whatever. Or those ones that have a big head and big eyes. They might look like that, some of them, but some of it's so different. I think it's like nothing that it's like from another planet in the heavens. Time 295. It's a residential neighborhood. Can't see from here. Well, you can shoot a gun in your backyard, maybe if one of your friends or you shoot guns, but I don't like shooting guns. Yep. I feel bad for driving fast, but I'm kind of driving fast. Hey. No. Yep. I'm going to my house. I'm driving to my house in the video. Hey. Yeah. Hey. No shit. I'm gonna fix something. Tonte ain't tonte. Okay, what are you doing there? Saying I don't. Tonte. What is that? Oh shit! Oh no! What is that? I don't know. What is that? Why do you... Oh shit! What is that? Oh, shit! What the heck? I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know what that is. Maybe somebody. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't want that. Somebody's grill. This is grill. This is grill. I don't know how it got there. I don't even know. I don't know what it is. Praise the Lord Jesus. No, he don't do anything mean. No. Get away from me. I act like a big angry Hollywood. I don't know. I don't know. Here's the home. They painted stuff. So weird that I didn't hire. Oh, the painted stuff. How awful! I drove back here and got angry and drove off really fast. They painted those windows. Yep. No, get her. Yeah, I gotta get home. I'm just gonna. Maybe, yeah. In a good kind of, the good definition of magic that's not anything bad. Looks pretty good. My dad. I don't know where I'm gonna live or what. Because this is my house, but I don't know if I have to leave to California or what I'm gonna do. They're removing that pile of junk. I carried some of it to there. We used to leave the windows open. I'll just leave the windows open. Oh, that's pretty. Oh man, the painted stuff. It's way out in the woods. And way out in the woods. Really got to use the bathroom. This looks better. Hey, this is pretty amazing. There's a bee of some kind. Hey, yeah, bee of some kind. Alexa, what's the weather out?
The current weather is 90 degrees Fahrenheit with mostly sunny skies. Today, you can expect intermittent clouds with a high
That's
of
weird.
92 degrees and a low of 72 degrees.
Okay, it doesn't feel warm. It says 90 degrees. I have to use the bathroom. I'm gonna go